Hello everybody and welcome to Car Confections. Now I'm standing out here in the middle of this snowy night, not just for any vehicle, but for the all-new 2025 Infiniti QX80. And this of course is a big deal to the Infiniti brand, but it's also a flagship. And I can't wait to show you what this flagship has when it comes to lighting at nighttime. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so we'll begin this night review by what happens as you approach the vehicle. So when you approach the QX80, it does sense your approach and go ahead and give you a little bit of a welcome animation by turning on these cool daytime running lights. You can also unlock the vehicle, and by unlocking the vehicle, that's going to do the same thing. Now, as far as other things I do want to point out, you do have some really cool puddle lamps. Now, of course, on camera, I pushed the unlock button, so it went ahead and turned it off. But we'll go ahead and insert a picture of the really cool Infiniti logo that you're going to get here on the side. It really does make walking up to the vehicle feel special. Now, we're going to have these new pop-out door handles, and once we open up the door, of course, you're going to see inside a very premium and luxurious cabin. Of course, we'll talk a little bit more about that later, but let's go ahead and get inside and start the vehicle up so you can see all the lighting at nighttime. So let's go ahead and start by discussing what the exterior looks like here at nighttime. Now, I'm sure you're probably noticing a lot of different things with this QX80. Of course, it has a very new design this year in terms of just the overall look. And at nighttime, there's also a lot of cool lighting elements to make sure that you're not going to mistake this for any other flagship out on the road. So one of those big elements is up here in your grille. You have, of course, a new grille this year, and this new QX80 is going to have an illuminated Infiniti logo. So nice right in your face, that big Infiniti logo. You're not going to mistake it for anything else. Now, let's also talk about our lighting. So up here at the top, this is the new piano key DRLs that this QX80 is going to have. It's a nice LED finish on board. It also doubles as your turn signal indicator. Now, our actual headlight unit is going to be located down here. It's a projector style for both your low and your high beam. This is your low beam, that's your high beam. We'll talk about overall headlight performance a little bit more later on. And then over here on this upper DRL, you can see what the turn signal looks like at nighttime. Now, as we kind of back up to a 3/4 angle, you're going to, of course, see that new QX80 design. It has a lot of presence even here at nighttime. We're also going to have new 22-inch alloy wheels, also a new air suspension as well. And I just want to point out, before we get any further, if you want to see all the details about this vehicle, you can watch our daytime review, which covers all of that stuff. This is going to be mainly focused on the lighting at nighttime. Now, as far as your mirrors, fully loaded, heated, power folding, auto dimming, that's of course important here at nighttime. It's auto dimming for both the driver and passenger side, and you're also going to have that turn signal indicator. Now, as we head around to the side, this is of course a very big SUV. We're going to have that floating roof design, and this is the fully loaded Autograph trim level. Now, let's talk about the rear. I think the rear also has a very distinct look here at nighttime. You're going to have that signature piano key to your your taillight unit going through here. It's going to be in a nice red finish and a clear lens in the daytime. As far as the unit itself, you do have the amber turn signal indicator down here, as well as the LED reverse light. It looks really, really nice here in person. If you drop down, you'll notice that we also have LED license plate lighting, which is a nice touch that some of the manufacturers will cheap out on. And then if I open up the tailgate here, let's see if we can get it opened up. The vehicle is running, so sometimes that affects that, and there we go. Once we open up the tailgate, you're going to notice that we have quite a bit of space. Overall capacity is about 101 cubic feet as a maximum. And as far as lighting, they've included a nice LED light up here at the top to kind of shine down into the cargo area, although there's not going to be anything integrated into the tailgate itself. You'll notice that your load sills also have some nice illumination on them as well. So overall, pretty premium experience, but I'm sure you're very curious as to what this QX80's cabin is going to look like at nighttime, so let's dive into that. If you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the inside of this new QX80. Of course, that's going to be a strong suit for this model is the overall interior. And, as you walk up to the vehicle and unlock it, you'll notice that some of the ambient lighting just goes ahead and turns on. That's going to, of course, make sure that you can see where you're getting into and also just kind of elevate your experience. You do also have some illuminated door plates here. I'll take a picture of that since I'm sure the camera won't be able to see that. So that, of course, is pretty nice. I do want to point out no power running boards, though, so that's something worth noting. As we shut up the door, let's go ahead and start it up. This new model definitely has a lot of impressive technology, so let's go ahead and dive into that in a first-person perspective. So we've went ahead and transitioned into a first-person perspective, and, of course, I'm happy I'm inside now, because not only is this a nice cabin, but it's a lot warmer than outside. I froze a couple tears on my face, so now they're thawing out. But let's go ahead and dive into some of the details. Now, of course, one of the big new elements for this QX80 is the technology. You'll notice that we have dual screen set up here. Really amazing resolution to this in the daytime, and at nighttime it looks even better. I also want to point out that your background is going to go ahead and change depending on what time of the day it is. The weather conditions, those types of things will change as, the conditions change around you. Now, as far as the gauge cluster itself, you do have a really nice setup. Of course, a lot of it is also customizable. If you don't like this design, you can make it pretty much anything you want. And then up here in the windshield, let's talk about our head-up display. We have a really nice head-up display, crisp resolution on that as well. You can see that in the windshield right now. And then this is a great place to demonstrate the headlights. I said I'd talk a little bit more about that later on. This is your low beam. I'll go ahead and flip on the high beam. The high beam does a really good job overall. You can see it goes a really long distance. It definitely brightens things up a lot. The auto high beams we also found to work pretty well. Overall, I'd give this headlight rating a B+. It's a pretty solid headlight, although not the best headlight I've ever experienced or anything like that. As we come back to the steering wheel, we have a really supple semi-aniline wrapped steering wheel with a leather airbag cover as well. This steering wheel is definitely one of the nicest ones I've ever felt. All of your buttons are going to be finished in a nice white color. They're going to be a touch capacitive setup, and you can actually control things like the main screen just by toggling between the two different buttons there. The steering wheel itself is going to be power tilt and telescoping, as well as heated, of course. Over here on the side, you'll find some more buttons. These are all going to be finished in a nice white illumination, so a premium ambience going on through here, as well as our memory seats and our window switch gear. And then let's go ahead and just talk about our ambient lighting. You notice that we have a color strip going through the doors up here in the front. You also have some lighting here in your door grab. Down at the very bottom here, it's going to be kind of hard for me to see on camera, but our speaker grills actually do have a nice illumination as well. So as we, go across, and you'll notice that we have more ambient lighting going through there. You have this kind of flowing line setup. Infiniti branding is going to be illuminated at nighttime, so you can even see that here. And there's a good look at your speaker grill. It's a nice metal speaker grill, and it's going to be illuminated in the ambient lighting color. So real nice and premium. Although I will say for a vehicle that has over a six-figure price tag, it's not as good as something like the Germans or Genesis products. Those do ambient lighting a little bit better. Now, let's talk about the center console. In order to open that up, you just press this button. Inside of the center console, it is not going to have any illumination, but this is actually a cool box, so keep that in mind. You can toggle that on and off with a little switch to keep your drinks cold. In front of that, we have a little storage area with two lighted USB ports, a wireless phone charging pad. You have some cup holders to the side of that. And then you also have a floating storage area down here that's going to have some illumination as well. Now, when it comes to your shifter, we have a new piano key shifter is what they call it. It's electronic style, so you just press D for drive, once more for manual mode. By pressing R, that's going to put you in reverse. And let's check this out. So how's our 360 camera at nighttime. Well, the resolution in the daytime is really good, and you'll notice here at nighttime it looks very good as well. It doesn't get too grainy or anything like that, so I'm very pleasantly surprised by that. As far as the camera functionality itself, it does have quite a few different functions. You can put it in quite a few different views. You also do have some really cool features like an invisible hood view. We'll discuss all of that in the daytime review. We're focused on lighting here. Press the P for park. And then up in front of that is your climate screen. So this is going to be a separate screen from the main infotainment system. This adjusts climate functions such as your heated seats, your ventilated seats. You can also adjust the temperature, and it actually presses in. So when you adjust the temperature, you don't have to worry about did I hit it or not. It's a haptic feedback setup. You can also adjust the rear temperature from up here as well. Now coming up, your volume knob and all that is going to be illuminated nicely. We have a really cool Klipsch audio system as well. Very impressive stuff. We'll discuss that in our daytime review, so if you want to learn more, hop on over to that. And then let's take a look at our infotainment system. This is going to be a really nice upgrade over what we had before, that's for sure. Software on board is fantastic. The overall screen itself is just beautiful looking here at nighttime. It looks absolutely fantastic. Resolution is amazing. The performance is great. We also have things like Google built in, so you'll have built-in Google Maps, so you can easily access that without using your phone. But you do have wireless CarPlay, wireless Android Auto as well. Now coming up, we have a rear camera mirror. As you can see, it doesn't look grainy at nighttime. It's handling all of snow and all that perfectly fine. It's also an auto-dimming mirror with HomeLink garage door openers. At the very top, this is where you can control things like your interior lighting. I can turn it on manually by pressing that button right there. It's going to be LED interior lighting for the entire cabin. Also, this is the button to turn it on and off for when you open the doors. I went ahead and turned that back on since that was not on before. We also have a panoramic moonroof for this QX80, as well as a suede headliner. So as far as overall interior lighting, I'm going to give this a pretty good rating. It definitely feels expensive. It definitely feels premium inside of this cabin, although I do wish that it had just a little bit more ambient lighting for the price. Let's go ahead and check out the rear seats. When we open up the door, now that I've got that setting turned on, all of the interior lights will go ahead and illuminate. That definitely makes getting in quite easy. Actually, here's a good look at your Infiniti door sills. Nice and bright. Lots of Infiniti logos throughout this vehicle, so you're not going to mistake it for anything else. So we hop inside. Here's what your cabin looks like from the back seat. And then as far as features are concerned, here in the center, we're going to have both heated and ventilated rear seats in this QX80, so that's certainly nice to have that. We won't be using the ventilated seats, that's for sure. Additionally, we have some illuminated USB ports down here at the bottom. And a couple other things I want to point out is that we have a floating console here. Now, it's going to be a little hard for me to see. Let me see if I can manually turn on these lights so you can see a little bit better. But it's a floating center console. We have illumination under there. And then this is going to be your center area. Inside of here, no illumination, but you do have lighted USB ports. Now again, turn those lights back off, and we can go ahead and look at this screen. This screen is going to adjust various functions such as your climate. It also will adjust your seats because these are power adjusting second row seats here on this model. And we also have seat massage here on the Autograph version, and that's going to go for all 4 of the seats inside this vehicle. So a lot of really, really premium features, that is for sure. You'll notice that we do keep the ambient lighting here in the back, so you have that top strip as well as the strip for the speaker grill, excuse me. But overall, very nice cabin. This vehicle does cost about $112,000, so do keep that in mind. It is very expensive, but I'm pretty impressed with what Infiniti is giving you here in the cabin at nighttime. Well, guys, that's going to be it for our night review of this all-new 2025 Infiniti QX80. Hopefully you enjoyed watching this night review. If you're looking to buy a QX80 or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, the reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that'll connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description, and we also have a pinned comment at the top of this video. Hopefully you guys found this helpful and enjoyed. If you did, we'd also appreciate if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you're going to be a part of our Car Confections family. We have a lot of really cool content on this channel that I'm sure you won't want to miss out on, including more of these night reviews, our daytime full reviews where we cover all the details, as well as comparisons and all the in-between. So do yourself a favor, subscribe down below. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.